Hello and welcome to Scoping Out Tools. So yesterday I was doing several videos. One, I was making a pen video. The other, I was showing the second-hand wood turning chisels that I'd bought. Another one was restoring the wood chisel. Then, as I was doing another pen turning video, I turned my speed control and it stopped working. And so I take it out, and this you can see here. Now I have a Reeves drive on my M950 lathe. I am not I've said before, I am a beginner, so I have had to learn as I've gone, trying to work out what's gone wrong. I've actually learned various terminology because I didn't know anything. I didn't even know sort of like what this part was: gear, Reeves drive, speed control. I have since found out that this is called the pinion, and so I have actually reached out to Axminster to actually see if they actually have spare parts for these things, and I've also found out that these Reeves drives are known to actually seize if not properly maintained. I did not properly maintain. I've had it for 3 months. I hadn't realised that when I was moving it I had to apply force. I didn't realise that I had not. It should have actually flowed a little bit easier. So I'm going to be showing a video on, as I try, and it'll probably be a series of videos, as I try and work out if I can repair it and how to repair it, and is it worth repairing. I think it would be worth repairing, as actually even just an exercise to learn on it. I don't know how this actually comes apart. I'm assuming there is a join here, and there is a Allen screw here as well. So that's, I think, is how I would take that off to get replaced. And I will also show you the mechanism as well to actually explain, because again, I never knew how it worked, and over the past well, less than 24 hours, past 12 hours, some of which was in sleep, I've actually learned quite a lot of it, which I probably should have actually researched before I even started using the lathe. So let's actually have a look inside the lathe itself. The power is off to it, unless I tell you the power is getting turned on. Assume that the power is off so that all my fingers remain on my hands. Just a shot from this angle. So I've got the cover off, power is off, and this is where the speed control is getting inserted, and it is actually controlling at this wheel here. I'll show you a top-down approach to sort of show that in a minute. This is the one that is going to be turning. So this turns, and well, you can see that that moves here. I'm not going to necessarily turn it just to sort of show you, but this turns it, this drives it, and then depending on where the other half of this is will determine the actual speed itself. Now this is actually fixed in with two screws. One of them was a normal flat screw. The other one was a wood screw and didn't really hold on to anything. So I think that's one of the things before they've had to, it might have been damaged before even I got it. So now I'll change position so you can actually have a look in a different angle. So what I can gather so far is that there is an extra wheel that will move this direction, and it will change the position of it. You can see it's loaded with a spring here. So as I change the gauge, it will move closer to this point here. There is a little guide pin here, which I think that is what it travels across, and you can see just at this small point here there is a bar. This bar is what I think is getting controlled by the speed control. So I'm gonna probably take this all off and give it a bit of a clean up and just see if I can actually get it to no longer seize. I'm thinking that if I was to take this and rotate it 180 degrees, this obviously, these pins should be good enough for it, and I might be able to then just see, can I actually get some movement back. But I have tried that already, but so far it's still seized, so I need to actually again take this off and hopefully be able to basically get a better idea of what's going on inside before I actually get the part for repair. Okay, so I'm going to try and first of all take this part there. There is, I'm not sure what that little bit is. It looks like it might just lock it in place, so I'm just checking which, yeah, that feels like it's the right Allen key. That's the trouble, I don't know if this is metric or imperial. Made in Taiwan, maybe imperial. Made for UK, maybe it's, sorry, made in Taiwan, maybe metric. Oh wait. Okay, so that actually came off relatively. Right, okay, so that one's sealed. Oh. First auto bit. Okay, so this is a circlip that pinged, and I'm just popping that in the Saki cup just now as well. Yes, I probably should have done it, but part of my object blindness, part of the object blindness makes it a bit more difficult to see. Okay, so I think I've got lucky, and this is now on the this is now actually on the slowest setting, which I've now got to remove this belt now again. So I'm just going to lock this out of place just to try and just get that so that I'm not got it in my stomach. So as I'm turning this, I can see it grabs up, so I'm just gonna try and get it so that, have I got, yep, yeah, and hopefully, yeah, that's the belt off. Right, so okay, so that might help things. Oh, right, okay, so that's spring loaded. Okay, so I can now see how that part works. Oh, blimey, that's quite a tough spring. Okay, so this is gripped together, and this has now got a nice free spin. So this is probably what it should be spinning like if it hadn't properly seized. Maybe this is the bit that's the issue. Blimey, that is quite a tough spring. But that should hopefully allow me to clean that a little bit easier. So I don't know how well that was, you could see that, but that's quite a lot of effort to actually shift it. So let's see about this part. So this is a bit that I'm not too sure about. So there is a screw at the bottom that's holding it onto here. I don't know when they say how that is going to get over, how that's going to pop out. Let me just get a screwdriver. Oh, and I've just broke that. Well, looks like I'm going to need to repair that one, or replace that one. Okay, so I just broke that bit. I will need to replace it, so that's very annoying. So yeah, so that's right. So while I'm trying to remove it, I'll talk about how I messed it up and also what the different parts are. So first things first, I'll show you the part which is changed by the speed control. So that is the part that has become orange. Right. Now, up at the top where the spring is, I'll just mark that as orange as well. That's what allows it to get pushed back in place after you remove the tension on the actual gear at the bottom. This unit here, let's just call it a different color, yellow. This part here is what holds the bearing, and this is the bearing which let's call it green. Green is the bearing. Then the first motor is here, and let's change that color. Sorry, it's a pulley. Sorry, light blue, and that actually sits inside the bearing itself. So if I just move this into the bearing, right, and I'm just going to bring that to the front to sort of, so that's basically sitting inside it. And there is actually a little C-clip that goes on the other side to basically lock it in place so it locks to the bearing itself. Now that C-clip was missing in my one, and I'll explain why in a minute. And it also explains why I actually destroyed the pulley when I actually pulled it apart. But basically, when that, if I just bring this, the outer pulley in here, which is also held with a C-clip, which you would see, then, so I'll just drag it like that. So basically what happens is when you move this back and forward, basically it, oh, sorry. When you move it back and forward, it basically comes in like this and back. Yeah, and that means the belt, which is in the middle, that'll get faster or slower depending on if it is open up wider or closer in. So anyway, back to the trying to remove this this pulley, and as I say, I broke it already. So basically what happened was, as I was trying to force it out, this came apart, this remained inside the bearing, and so that whole assembly I had to actually replace. Alright, so what's gone wrong? Well, other than the breakage that I have done for this removing it, because I was using the wrong lever bit, I didn't realise that it was how it was. When I actually check on the underside, this is why it couldn't move. The bearing was obviously ripped away with it, and that's what's happened. It's sheared. Good sample for scoping out tools, I suppose. So yeah, it's now if I just take the other part, now obviously the screws are was for me trying to work out how to actually get it. It obviously comes in together and slots in there, and that's how they actually fit together. They are a very snug fit, so these will need replaced. I'll contact Axminster to see if I can get 2 replacements. The next bit that I've now got to do is see. So I don't know if I'm assuming that the bearing is part of this as well. So let's see if I can actually get the bearing part off now, so that I've now got the full assembly off. I'm hoping it will just come off fairly easily now, but we'll have to see. Anyway, this might be just part 1, so bye for now, and see you in part 2, where I take the rest of it and hopefully I can get to also the repair as well. Bye for now.